like the mafia, drug rings, etc. They're going to have to take care of that and get rid of that and start upgrading their type of life.
Well, in the sense that humans are the highest level on the planet, and the closest to tune in to information from the next level, we feel like the ones who want to be good tune in to improved methods of getting rid of or working against crime and ugliness like that. You know, this funny thing I started to bring up last time when someone said something about the way the humans pick up on things from the next level. Oh, I know, it was related to what he said about the kind of karma. Kind of, if you do something, you suffer the consequences. I feel like the next level designed the human mechanism to have a very, very keen sense of hunting down people who have done something wrong in order to, even though the penal system is not good and all that, but it's almost impossible for someone to escape crime. And I can't help but believe that the next level even gives them clues or has given them a design so that they unconsciously know the route to take to pursue people. And finding them. That doesn't mean they're always right. It doesn't mean that they always convict only the guilty party. Because sometimes the innocent get caught in those traps, particularly when you have other problems like the press and the sheriff pushing so hard for a conviction that somebody gets stuck with it before they've even done any kind of decent investigation. But I can't help but believe that the design there is part of what has people's evil need to catch up with. And also a human is designed so that when he does something wrong, he invariably makes just the wrong mistake in order to get found out.
It's like they say that criminals usually return to the scene of the crime. Sometimes I wonder if it is just a built-in mechanism like that to make him do this. Of course, there has to be a keen individual to catch them, to know that they are there, but like Joe said, it's probably something with the next level or something else that could do things.
Because there is no stuff you can do. Are you comfortable? I'm warm, but I'm hoping a little bit more, but I don't want somebody caught in the draft there, so generally if you're not, because it's warm over here. You can go ahead and sit there when it's weather, I don't need it, and that way you can pull it off. Is there cool air coming in the door? Are those windows open in the lab? Because as early as just starting our meeting with this stuff, we were going to have people fighting off speakers. That's not correct.
About, what kind of attitude they have in certain situations. Like these things that I'm going to have. In particular, the fact that I have a kind of collection very quite shared, and I wonder maybe if our thoughts and actions and attitudes do automatically send out a signal, but maybe you could help me some idea of the best way to go about it. And not the best way to get the money, but I mean, if I should work hard at it, or how I should feel with people.
Well, I thought it occurs to me, and I want to give a teach that, like, Sawyer, are you still having to harass people about checks too?
I'm getting paid.
Can you give me details to someone else?
You weren't doing very well out of here.
Don't feel bad.
So if I were in a position where I would have to talk to people about hot checks and all, I would have to preach them a sermon of irresponsibility. Or how in the world do you think that you could be justified with cheating like that and not expect people to cheat on you? In other words, you can't...
I'm afraid, though, that if she did that, she'd want to have somebody come
Well, I know that you have to do that.
poke her in the nose.
Well, I don't know if I
know that's what we would do, and that it would be justified.
But what Sawyer was doing was just threatening them. And all that. I'd be more inclined to be gentle on her nose if someone tried to give me a...
Well, I think she's just trying to get money, get them to pay it, so we're not going to
Lawyer wanted to get first, that's what.
I pay it. I don't know how people keep track of checks to begin with. I really don't. It's not that they're justified in writing it, but I'm afraid I would be tempted to tell them to close their bank account on a cash basis. That's the way because we love that bank. I don't know, did you all see that 60 Minutes last week, last week, that savings and loan closed? Because the bank loaned out so much money they were not getting it paid back, and these people lost their life savings. And one man died of a heart attack a couple of months after the bank went under, and his wife felt like that contributed to it. And if I'm not, I would be, not that I'm against the morality thing like Joe said, but I'm afraid that the humans, they're embarrassed to begin with to know that they had written a hot check.
Well, I'm afraid of that mark.
Well, but what do? Have to call everybody who writes the checks? Are there individual ones?
Yes, there are some that tend to repeat because of they obviously aren't very good at keeping track of them. But most of them are over half you can't reach on the telephone. There's nothing to do with the same anything.
Over half of them you can't even reach.
Yeah, the number will be disconnected or they just never answer.
What do you do? Turn it over to the sheriff?
Well, the owner says he doesn't feel it's worth the effort of turning it over to the PA. But the ones that I can reach, I generally just talk to them. And generally they'll pay eventually. I try and I felt like I want to approach them in a way that isn't that I'm looking down my nose or anything like that, that I'm being respectful and assuming that it's the bank's mistake, which most of it is.
Really?
But it's amazing how much it benefits if they don't stop using banks. And the question came up because some people call, well, I call and they say the check's in the mail, and I call and they say the check's in the mail. And that sort of thing. That's the type
Why don't you tell them to come by and check?
Or they say, I'll come down today, and today they are to call me, I'll come down today. That's the kind of person I wonder if I could counsel to continue to not...
Are these checks for booze?
Yeah.
You're really with
That's what I was thinking, that half the people who write hot checks for booze have no intention of paying for it when they wrote them.
The only thing I can think of is that you don't want to go on a bad check list, because then you won't be able to cash a check here. And if they got their booze, they're going to want to cash a check.
Do they check them out? I mean, when they write a check, do they have a check list that they go here?
It is, that if you don't come and cover it today, then we'll have to put you on our bad check list, and we sure don't want to do that, because if we do, then that means we can't take any more of this today. I don't know if your boss will let you do it.
Well, no, that's automatic. I think they even know that they can't. But I just drop it? Or what would be the best type of...
What do you mean to copy?
Well, if I know they really probably are never going to come in to pick it up, just stop calling them, or it might be more helpful.
Well, see,
It's hard for us to, because we're so against the check writing business.
we had this circumstance in Amarillo that, where, when we had extra objects, this lady ordered these pictures. And, we trusted her, and we gave her pictures without her paying for it, which we didn't want to do, but it just happened that way. And she never paid for them, and it cost us money to have those pictures enlarged with her maid, that although he had seen it. And when we asked her to pay them, she paid for them. She said she'd pay for them in a week or on Tuesday or something like that. And then, of course, she didn't come back. We called her again, and I think we called her about 3 more times.
We asked her to return them also if she couldn't pay.
She wouldn't do it.
That just didn't register.
She wouldn't give us the pictures back from when she paid for them. Well, in my mind, there are people like that in this world who
The crap that we couldn't.
and people don't forget about it. If they know, they won't do anything about it. Now, I don't like that kind of characteristic in you. I feel like if you get something, then you ought to pay for it if you promise to do it. And so the only thing I can say is that you turn them either over to the credit bureau because the right contracts are, if the owner doesn't want to turn it over to the sheriff or the police department, I think they have a collection agent or turn it to some collection agent or something. But I just don't think people ought to be that irresponsible then. I'm talking about humans in the world. In other words, we try to pay all the bills that we promise to pay, and we promise to pay them on time. I'm talking about with this group. And we think the humans ought to do the same thing. And as far as I'm concerned, they ought to stop writing checks because there are, I've seen times where they are charged as much as $12 for a return check, $15 or something. And what if the check is for $2 and a half? That's ridiculous. They ought to come to their business and stop using the money. If they keep such a small amount of money, surely if they have $100 in the bank, and they ought to be able to keep that cash somewhere in their house where it isn't that much. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I can say, I don't think it's wise to drop it. But I think I would ask my boss how far you can go and say, well, listen, what about sending them the forms, then we're turning it over to the credit bureau. Whether you do it or not, but I just, you have to.
Sure. I don't know why you just choose to serve as your collection agency.
If it amounts to enough, I don't know why they just turn it over to a collection.
Do you have larger amounts that go to collection agencies and only small accounts, or do you do all your own collections?
No, I've been doing it all. How much are the checks for? They vary
From $2 to $300. But there was one for $400.
Well, the $2 one is the large one. Well, that really answers my question, because I felt like to just drop it wasn't really helping anybody, and I don't really mind.
Call them again and again.
You know,
They need it. It's awful. Like this lady in Amarillo, she may or may not have, when she ordered those pictures, she probably didn't intend to not pay for them. But subconsciously, she knew that here was a nice bunch of people, that whether she paid for them or not wasn't going to really matter. This is kind of a, don't you know people like that? That think that here's a nice bunch of people, and they do favors for people, and I'll pay them if it's convenient. I mean, this is subconscious, and if it isn't convenient, I won't. And yet, to us, the real terrible thing was when she wouldn't return the items she hadn't paid for, and that's when she became enraged. It was like, well, I told you I'd pay for them, but here she...
But then she turned that she was going to pay for it.
Yes, that she...
Because we kept asking her.
That's right, because then we were the bad guy, because we were hounding her so that she had no intention of paying us, since we weren't the kind of people she thought we were.
Exactly, there are people who turn the tables and find a reason for not paying things. And, which is right. Well, there's the law now, and you can't threaten people, and you can't do that, but you can turn it over to the credit bureau, and you can turn it over to a collection agency, and they if I understand it correctly, they are paid a fee, a certain percent of what they collect,
and if they don't collect, though, I think you have to pay them a fee. That's the reason that a lot of people won't turn it over. They just drop it because they don't expect to ever get it anyhow, and don't want to pay for the agency trying to pursue it.
Well, sometimes, in answer to your question, Nadia, in my mind, if you're placed in that position, then you ought to try to fulfill that task.
Right.
But not to the extent that you are faced with a lot of possibilities. In other words, be nice to them and try to work with them. Instead of going to work it out where you pay it out so much, or just anything to clear the book. And that is if your boss would agree to it, because I know if it were me, I would be shaking in my boots if I knew like that. It disturbs us. It disturbs me if we know that our audience wants to write a check and then go and cover it. Later, we'd rather you put it in the bank and then write a check. And so we're trying to teach humans ways, which all of the things that we do are actually putting salt in the ether. Then we have to play it proper as we can, according to the rules that we have. And therefore, humans have to learn how to handle their money. And if they can't keep up with their checks, then they ought to know to have a check until they are able to get either that or turn it over to some credit counselor, who will pay their checks and give them so much money. And they do that now for people who get so deep in debt. I think it's a good idea. We've got to teach people in their own actions, in their own ways, and with the circumstances that we're faced with, teach them principles. And some are willing to learn, and some are not. And if you can set an example by treat them with respect, but not let them run over you. And if they get ugly with you, then I would just back off and put them on the list. That's not working. And if you do have an opportunity to give them a little urban like then I would do it. I haven't tried that yet.
Only someone that you talk to enough that you suspect that they have no intention of paying. I wasn't talking about anybody who just writes a bad check or what you don't know the circumstances. Like I'm surprised at a fourth of them where the bank's fault, and that half of them you can't even get in touch with. I'm surprised they were taking checks without valid telephone numbers, but I guess when they take them, they say those phone numbers are valid, but then they aren't. I can't imagine the booze guys taking checks anyhow, because when people are after their booze, they don't care whether they can back it up or not.
new kind of way of life. Now, how right this is, I don't know, but it makes a lot of sense because they can't go and the next level can't go with spacecraft and move individuals over to, like all these businesses. Come on, get on the spacecraft. And we'll take it over to the United States. Some of you going to be some of you. They can't do it that way. They have it happen in the natural way. And if that's the case, then if that's one aspect that we see is happening. And another aspect is where so many advances are dying, which we know by past history that it happens that way. Sometimes with wars, sometimes with famine. So it could happen. It's happening now to get rid of the ones who do not need to continue with it, or for other reasons. I can't think, I'm sure there are a lot of reasons, but this is the kind of work that you can see happen. And in that way, they say, I don't believe it depends upon your awakening. I think it depends upon how much energy is going out to them, so to speak, by you all. And it's about the next step.
Very abruptly, can also have a lot of levels going on at the same time in the same area. And then the other extreme can happen when there seems to be only one level going on in that area at that time. And also, then their offsprings might be of seemingly completely different advanced generation altogether, and that confuses you because you're looking at the vehicle instead of a migration mind. But you don't know what the vehicles in that area might have prepped their vehicle for, even though they may have appeared to be extremely primitive. They may have prepped their vehicles so that their offsprings are very strong in certain areas and ready for advancement far beyond what would have been the obvious advancement of second generation. Then you go look at some other gardens and you see little plants that for generations have seemed to advance almost to zero. And but it's that you're still looking at the plant. You're not looking at the mind. And therefore you don't know that the minds that didn't come out of that little area where those primitive plants are, you don't know that they didn't move from the Navajo Indian Reservation to New England to London. You don't know where they are. See what's there, so you can't look at the plant. You don't know what the routine is. It excites me to think about it because I can just imagine how the planners, this is the reason, I think part of the reason why we feel that they do a lot of sampling on spacecrafts, a lot of sampling of humans. In other words, taking little tests on them and seeing how they're developing and what's happening in this area and what's happening in that area. And in other words, if they send a bunch of minds that seem to have been ready for so-and-so over to a certain place, then they can bring a vehicle in and check out both the mind and if they're going to check it out genetically, they're checking the mind at the same time because that's part of it. Right? So in a sense, they're planning for what's the next move anytime that they would do that, or they may take many seconds and then work for some period of time on the next move before it's actually put into motion. So that project would be a lot of fun to be back into that kind of knowledge, because you sit here and you're stupid, so you see all that going on out there. You can only imagine what they might be doing.
The ones that they were shipping out of Ethiopia was the ones who were strong. So this one stayed behind. And the ones that left Vietnam were the strongest. The boat people, all of the boat people were strong. And the weak were stayed behind. In Finland, instead of it being a box, it used to be like their lab. And that the strong ones move out according to kind of like a chess game. They move at certain times. And I'm sure, like Rose said, it's very exciting to see what's going on, like a big old chess game or checkerboard game. You move here and take away some, and checkers, I guess is the best. Jump some man and pull off some,
You take the American Indian, for example. Here was an opportunity since the next level was designed to found some advanced humans coming over here to start a new, more advanced way of governing themselves. And they progressed very, very quickly, relatively very, very quickly. Then the next thing you knew, they were doing their world in a place that some occupants there who were primitive said, "This is my world, I was here first." And yet, the immigrants who moved in, who were more advanced, could have the Indians could have responded, and a few did, and the more that became compatible, the more that did. But the American Indians could have responded with, "Great God, this is what I want to learn." I mean, they know how to use these tools. They know how to do all these things. They're living in houses instead of leather wrapped around sticks. And here was, in other words, this new experiment gave an opportunity for the ones who were on the periphery of an old experiment to progress with extreme acceleration, or to go deeper into their primitive ways. And the irony is that the civilized people come in, and after they've been there for a while, they start elevating those primitive ways. They start saying, you don't have your squash, blossom, silver, turquoise, lenses. You don't have your, you know what I'm talking about? These are prized possessions. You don't have your Indian weave blankets and your garnets and beads and all that. They are really advanced things. And that's a crazy kink that they get into. But even that gives an opportunity for that younger school there to move ahead fast if they want to, or give them a choice, or they can go back. Now, I don't know if you watched American Indians, but relatively few moved to enter, and even wanted to, and most of the ones who did even were very reluctant to do so, and even the masses in general wanted to go right on with their culture like it was. And they were mentally capable of seeing what's over. They would be like a NASA expert who sees a spacecraft come down in his yard, and the NASA says, "Now wait a minute, I was here first. Go away. I don't want to know anything about that spacecraft. I'm just happy with the shovel. We got nothing going here, and you're about to hang it up. Now, can you see how stupid that would be?" And yet there would probably be some who would feel just that way. Show me your credentials. Prove to me that you've come for our benefit instead of your own. It's really, really funny how these little brains. This shows you how primitive the world here still is. And if you ever see some of these commercials of these things, these Western things, and these cowboy, that world is still going on. The Dolly Parton world and the Elvis Presley world, and that world is alive and well. And I'm amazed. I can't believe that world is still out there. But you probably couldn't count the thousands of people in this city right here that's their world. That's really their world. And they don't want any part of that so-called civilized world. It's really funny. What's it all going on at once?
I don't know if it's me, but I don't feel like there's enough pull from your mind. I feel a little casualness with the group. In other words, I've had difficulty talking, and I don't know I'm joking, but I don't feel like there's enough reflection.
I think it happened when we started talking about the checks and the people writing on checks, and because that wasn't as philosophical, it wasn't as profound, it wasn't really that interesting to some, and you let something like that cause your interest to wane. Really, we ought to be able to talk about thimbles and needles, and the way we're talking about them should be just as you can take what we said and what we were discussing and apply it to just as much significance in your head as if we were talking about spacecrafts.
Now remember, what is happening now isn't necessarily what we're saying. And you don't want to be half asleep or fighting the opposite, or be too casual in the way you are responding. In other words, if your mind is on what is coming your way, then there's no way that you can be thinking or casual or just pretending like you're listening when you're really not. Your mind is elsewhere. And believe it or not, you might as well have the neon sign above your head with an arrow pointing down. See, he's not listening or she's not listening. Or their mind is elsewhere, because that's the way it hits them. And you're not going to benefit. How are we going to get out of here if we don't keep our mind in our vehicle? And when you're receiving a frequency, how are you going to receive the benefit of it if you don't develop, get your mind in to pull it to you? We might take it all back away from you. And you might think, well, I can get it from the tape when I listen to it. And I don't believe that you can get it as well as you can when it's right first hand. But don't think that that tape is going to give you what you need. Because if it was giving you what you need, you wouldn't be sitting here feeling this way if you felt that way every time you had a meeting. You see what I mean? You would be listening with all the strength that you have. That means that the tape, all we have to do is sit and talk into a tape recorder, and you can receive all the frequency that you need from it. And we wouldn't even have to do much listening, and which isn't what is the case. We can't do it. So you need to put more, even if you don't feel something, make yourself feel it. Get that mind in and forget about a weakness or casualness or whatever it is that you're dealing with, and get your mind on what is happening at this moment. And you can.
So, what you were saying about music, after you're moving around, I've been curious about people in more localized areas, like coming from Texas or Dallas. From what I can gather, Dallas itself, it looks a lot of people. North Dallas kind of appeared in the last 5 years or something like that. And I was just wondering, people kind of being drawn to here because you're here, or because in the past that I had, like all stuff that was a few years ago, all of a sudden.
Well, Texas is growing quite rapidly. But I don't know if it's because we're here or because it's supposed to be this way. All you need to do is go down the highway and count all the U-Hauls that are going down the road. And when we go on a trip, we act like it looks like everybody's moving. The road is just mostly all U-Hauls. And in fact, we joked about being invaded by U-Hauls. You know, there was an army of them going down the street, and I'm not exaggerating. And people are on the move, and you know they are, or these movie fans wouldn't be growing so rapidly as far as money-wise and size-wise.
There's something strange that we know is focused here right now, but we don't know what it is, and we don't know if it's just because you're here or because it's where we are to be at this time. But we know that it's focused here. We also know that it has an attraction. to the humans, and they don't know what it is. Or it has attraction to a lot of them. Anyhow, and they just go berserk. They just go crazy. And, I mean, fast. They want to move fast. They want to live fast. They want to change fast. They want to, and of course, and you can't get caught up in the things that they are caught up in, and it gives you a sense of stagnation because they're doing it so. And in other words, maybe not stagnation, but you feel like this time of year is always, it takes a lot more effort to pull significant growth in. It's almost like a rebellion against some of the hibernation characteristics deep down in the genes. That's the truth. And this time of the year, you have to work very hard if you want to stay out here with your head on. It's very easy to become either dull or disappointed